Welcome, dear learners. I'm Dr. Shamili Mandal and I'm back with Lecture 5, that is, Rituals of South India, in my sixth module, Rites and Rituals. In this lecture, I'll be talking about the rites and rituals prevalent in the southern part of India, in the parts of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and other states. South India's ritual history is intricately linked to the social, religious, and cultural development of the area. The ceremonies, which date back thousands of years, have been impacted by local traditions. For example, in Tamil Nadu, Brahmins performed the rites on behalf of kings and offered Vedic sacrifices. They were also incorporated into Tamil customs and culture during the Sangam era. The culture is demonstrated by literary works from this era, such as the Puranadu, which records emperors like Karikala Cholan offering Vedic sacrifices. The presence of several gods and the observance of rites honoring Shiva, Vishnu, and Durga were also common during this time. South Indian rites took on additional dimensions during the colonial era. Some traditional customs evolved by embracing components introduced and inspired by missionary work and contact with European traders, which resulted in a blending of foreign and indigenous elements. South Indian rituals combines the elements of the world and the oldness and the modernness and has quite evolved a lot and made them popular. Thousands of pilgrimage participate in ancient rituals seeking prosperity and protection at festivals like Telangana's Pedagattu Jatra. Now, I'll be talking about the rituals of Tamil Nadu. Life cycle rituals in Tamil Nadu have a long history and are reverently practiced there. Birth, puberty, marriage, and death are all significant life transitions that are marked by these customs. Certain rituals and traditions, are connected at each level. For the benefit of both the mother and the fetus, the Simantham, that is the baby shower ritual, is carried out in 7th or ninth month of pregnancy. Elders bless the expectant mother, who is decked out with jewelry and flowers. For instance, a priest chants mantras for the safe birth of the child and the health of the mother. The baby's name is whispered into the air by the father or a priest during the Namkaran ceremony, which is held on the 11th or 21st day after birth. Example, as the name is revealed to the family, the kid is rocked gently in a cradle. Manjul Niratu Visa or puberty celebrations is a celebration of a girl's entry into womanhood upon reaching puberty. Elders bless her, dress her, and bath her in turmeric water. There is also Kalyanam, the wedding ceremony, the Kanyadanam, giving away the bride, the Mangaladhyaranam, trying the sacred thread, and the Saptapati, the seven steps around the fire, which are a few of the symbolic rituals that are part of the Tamil weddings. As an illustration of their marital bond, the groom tries the thali, that is the typical Mangal Sutra of the south, around the bride's neck. There are also funeral rites, which provide a calm transition for the soul to the afterlife. And it consists of Shraddh ceremonies, Karumuti, which are the post death rites, and cremation. In addition to marking significant life transitions, these customs strengthen familial and social ties and transit cultural values between generations. The affliction rites or rituals in Tamil Nadu are religious or spiritual practices performed to ward off or cure illness, misfortune, evil influences, or possession. These rituals involve deities, spirits, or ancestors and are performed by priests, shamans, or community members. The goal is to keep the village safe from illnesses and spirits. And what are the rituals? The rituals are drumming, firewalking, transposition, and animal sacrifices. Typically, goats or chicken, which we know are the domesticated animals in most of the household in India. For instance, during the yearly temple celebration in remote communities, devotees present a goat to Sudalai Madan. Some people say oracles are carried out in a trance and they are thought to be the messages of the god. Amman worship, the worship of Mariamman or Pidari, are carried out during epidemics such as smallpox, chickenpox, or fevers. Rituals include fire rituals or, bestowing the turmeric neem leaf for decorations and vegetarian and non vegetarian offerings. For instance, as a devotional practice to fend off the ills, the people of Adi tribe construct temporary temples for Marianna, one of the very famous folk goddess in South India. And what do? The purpose of this is lamp worship. They actually lamp worship her to ward off evil spirit, and they offer ponga, that is sweet rice, and walk on fire. To request heavenly protection, women congregate in temples on Fridays to perform Trivalikku ritual, which involves lighting dozens of lamps. Rituals in Tamil Nadu resemble Theyyam, such as Kuttu and Vilupattu. The purpose of narrative rituals is frequently addressed to societal justice, divine vengeance, or illnesses. Rituals include blessings from ritual actors, dramatic enactments, and folk performances. The customs frequently strengthen social and religious value, promotes group identity, and maintain cultural memory. The celebrations of saints and spiritual leaders, known as Guru Pujai, are also held to commemorate spiritual mentors or siddhars on the anniversary of their passing. We can say it's a commemorative as well as the rites of passage. They're also known as Aradhana Day. Rituals include Annadhanam, special pujas, Abhishekam, and bhajanas. Also, the people here celebrate historical or religious events. For example, the celestial marriage of Lord Shiv and Parvati, known as Murugan and Devanai, is celebrated on Panguni Uthiram. Adipuram commemorates the birth of Andal, a female saint of the Bhakti movement. To honor a temple's initial consecration and revitalize it spiritually, the rites include waving the temple flag. For instance, temples such as Madurai Meenakshi Amman Temple have the Mahakumbha Abhishekanam every 12 years, which attracts lakhs of worshippers. Rituals also include festivals at Nadukal, where they have, folk music, offering milk, and, other offerings to the stone. For instance, in Tamil Nadu, sacrificial rituals are customs that involve making offering to gods, spirits, ancestors in the form of food, animal, or symbolic objects. Many of these customs, have their origins in rural traditions and folk beliefs. And everywhere, the animal sacrifice is a common thing. And who are worshipped? The deities are Kaliamman, Munishwar, Karupusami, and Sudalai Madan to ward off evil spirits and evil eye. And the ritual is during temple festivals or following the fulfillment of a vow, the same. The sacrifice happens. Tamil Nadu gives, in southern Tamil Nadu, the cooked meat of goat sacrifices to the deity during the yearly Sudalai Madan festival happens. The Pongal offerings express gratitude and make a symbolic sacrifice, particularly for the flourishing of agriculture. The worship of the sun god prevalently happens in Tamil Nadu. For instance, at many temples in Amman, worshippers fulfill their vows by offering a clay goat or chicken in lieu of a goat. Body piercing and firewalking is prevalently performed, and the rituals include carrying kawadi, walking over burning flames. For instance, in Palani, During the Thalipusan festival, followers of Murugan pierce their bodies and carry Kavari uphill, viewing the suffering as a personal sacrifice. There are political rituals in Tamil Nadu, which refer to the symbolic practices, public performances, and cultural expressions used in the political landscape to assert power, create identity, and connect with the masses. The rituals blend politics with religion, cinema, and social movements, reflecting the region's unique socio political history. For instance, worshipping, as I said, the heroes and the political leaders is also a type of ritual. For instance, at rallies, the movie songs of former cinema stars are played as if they were gods. Fans would ritually anoint their cutouts with milk, a practice known as milk abhishekam. Visits to temple is to convey cultural affiliation and appeal to religious feelings. Rituals include donning certain religious clothing and praying at temples before or after elections. For instance, it is customary for political leaders to visit Rameshwaram, Madurai Meenakshi Temple, or Palani Murugan Temple prior to important elections. In order to demonstrate their support for Hindu cultural identity, politicians frequently publicize their temple visits in India. In Tamil Nadu, social rituals are traditions and behaviors that communities adhere into order to preserve social harmony, strengthen cultural identity, and identify common values. Rituals also include offerings to the deity, processions, group feasts, and folk performances. For instance, whole villages take part in customs like Pongal offerings, the Thimidi, or the fire walking. Samabandi Virundu is to strengthen social equality and ties among the society, particularly at vow fulfillments, temple festivals, and marriages. And the ritual include huge feeding of family members, neighbors, underprivileged, as well as outdoor grilling and banana leaf dinners. For instance, hundreds are served vegetarian or non-vegetarian cuisine during a village deity festival or temple Kumbha Abhishekam, reinforcing social cohesion. The goal is to maintain social order in communities and preserve caste identity. Distinct marriage practices, caste based birth rights, or puberty rights are also prevalent in Tamil Nadu. For instance, extravagant, multi day weddings in Chettiar community have special customs, including food exchanges that represent social standings and Nalangu, which are entertaining games between the bride and the husband. Harvest festivity rituals commemorate agricultural cycles, honor nature, and give thanks to the gods for the harvest. And what do they include? Includes social games, creating kolam, which are rice flower designs, and they are all part of the ritual, where people share sweet rice with friends and neighbors while boiling fresh rice in clay pots and yelling Pongalo Pongal. A daily routine with significant social and aesthetic value brings cleanliness and prosperity into the house. According to the ritual, women get up early to clean the front yard and use rice flour to create elaborate columns. A person's admission into a certain social group or role is done ritually by status recognition. Adoption into initiation into religious groups. Now I'll discuss the rituals of Kerala. Hindu families in Kerala execute a purification rite to purify the home and family following childbirth, namely Punya Vachanam, the purification ritual, and on the 11th day following birth, it is typically completed. Usually performed on the 28th day, the naming ceremony, the Nullukettu, entails tying a sacred thread around the baby's waist and naming the newborn. For instance, an elder speaks the baby's name into their ear as they are resting on a traditional cradle in a Nair family. The ceremony begins on Vijayadashmi, signifies the beginning of a child's official schooling. Also, to commemorate the girl's entry into womanhood, A symbolic festival is performed while she is clothed in traditional clothing such as kasavusari. Weddings are lavish events that differ from one community to another. A Christian Syrian wedding is held in a church and is followed by a reception when priests bless the couple and exchange rings. The Muslim Mapila Nikah also takes place, which consists of a straightforward ceremony performed in front of elders and a qazi, as well as meher, the dowry agreed upon the groom. The affliction rites in North Kerala, particularly in Kannur or Kasargod, we have the Theyattu, which is a traditional ritual dance worship in which dancers take on the roles of regional deities or spirits. It is done to get rid of illness, poor luck, or spirit possession. For instance, if someone feel that they are being influenced by a bad spirit, they would support a Theyam performance of the goddess Muchilottu, Bhagavati, who is thought to have the ability to heal illnesses and bring wealth. So, what are the rituals? The rituals of Thottampattu and Kavu, carried out in kavus or holy graves to please local guardian spirits or deities. Before the main performance, a ritual song called Thottampattu tells the stories of the deity. To determine the source of recurring misfortunes, a family may perform a Bhagavati Kavu Puja that includes offerings, animal sacrifices in certain traditions, and oracles. Typically found in Bhagavati temples, the Velichappadu or the oracle is a medium who becomes possessed by a god. Guruti Puja is another ceremonial sacrifice to ferocious deities like Kali or Bhadrakali of red water, which represents blood, to cleanse following a terrible occurrence or to drive out bad elements. To ward off against bad energy, a family may do a Guruti when a member experiences recurring nightmares or unexplained disease. Dancing, drumming, and sacrifice are a part of the healing rituals. For example, the tribal priest participates in a Tuvayal ceremony to heal a person who is thought to be cursed or possessed by a spirit. The Pulavan community performs ritual music in honor of the Nagas or serpent god. And why? To treat infertility or snake curses. For example, if a family experiences repeated miscarriages, they may host a Puluvam Pattu and Sarpam Thullal in their ancestral house. The commemorative rituals are Shraddham, which is a yearly Hindu ceremony for the departed ancestors. For instance, during Bali Tharpanam, families congregate around rivers like as the Pamba and offer rice balls and water to the ancestors' spirits in order to placate them. A ceremonial lamp festival is held to commemorate the trip of Lord Ayappa to Sabarimala. As an illustration, devotees honor Ayappa's heavenly actions and ask for blessings for upcoming pilgrimages by lighting rows of lamps and singing bhajans. Bhabuvali is performed, particularly by Hindus, to honor departed spirits during Bhavu or the new moon. Chandanakuram is a festival of remembrance that is observed in dargahs or the tombs of saints, particularly in Bhimapalli. As an illustration, devotees honor and commemorate the saint Bi Umma by carrying pots adorned with sandalwood paste and offerings. Every year, churches all around Kerala celebrate the patron saints with a feast. For instance, Edathua Church celebrates the saint's miracles and legacy on the feast of Saint George with special masses, processions, and offerings. For instance, the head of a goat or pumpkin may be used as a symbolic replacement for human sacrifice in some tantric ceremonies. For instance, a rooster, cozy, is occasionally offered as a sacrifice to ward off evil or fulfill a vow. And gifts are presented to serpent deities during Sarpabali, which does not involve blood sacrifice. So we can see, that there are different types of sacrifice. And nowadays we can say people are doing symbolic sacrifices to avoid bloodshed. For instance, cultural events, public feasts such as the Onam Sadhya, and boat races foster solidarity and cultural pride. Puram festivals are temple celebrations with a focus on the community that feature processions, music, and fireworks. For instance, Thrissur Puram, which attracts thousands of peoples with its elements, Panchavadyam, and communal celebration, exemplifies not just religious devotion but also social engagement. In accordance with cultural traditions, traditional weddings frequently grow into sizable community gatherings that include customs like the women's group dance or Kaikottikali. Now, I'm going to say you about the rituals of Karnataka. The life cycle related Jatakarma, which are performed soon after birth, also is present in the rituals of Karnataka. Often held in temples or at home with a priest, they have the Shashti or the Uyalehava, the cradle ceremony, and the Annaprashan, which often takes place in the sixth or seventh month. Elders feed the infant rice or other sweets while reciting blessings and mantras. They have the Chudakarana, which is frequently carried out at fortunate temples like Tirupati. They have the Upanayan, the boy's initiation into formal education and spiritual development. The affliction rites in Karnataka are Drishti Togli, which refers to Drishti rituals which are carried out when someone is thought to be afflicted by the evil eye. We can see the affliction rituals or rites mostly happen when someone is afflicted with evil eye and it is done to ward off evil eye. It involves burning broomsticks, salt, lemon, or red chilies in front of the person to dispel any negative energy. It's very common, in young people and newlyweds. Tulu speaking population in Dakshina Kannada and Urupi practices Bhuta Aradhana, which involves performing rituals known as Bhutkala in order to please guardian deities or local spirits. Symbolic weapons, fire, and drums are frequently employed to ward off the evils. When there is an epidemic or disease outbreak, people worship goddesses like Mariamma and Elamma. And what does it involve? Community music and animal sacrifice and non Brahmin priest. The first time, the non Brahmin priest. They frequently played, at temple fairs known as Jatre. Utsava Karanika is a custom used to stop epidemics or forecast local fate. In a trance, a follower ascends a pole or tree and gives a prophecy that is thought to have come from the god. For defense against curses, black magic, or long term illnesses, they turn to local sorcerers or mantra practitioners. Well known deities are, people honor the Basavanna. They celebrate Basava Jayanti. In Karnataka, Raghavendra Swami Aradhane is a well known figure at Mantralaya. The devotees celebrate Purandara Dasa Aradhane and Kanaka Dasa Aradhane. The Samadhi Puja is also performed at a saint's or spiritual leader's tomb or Samadhi. Seva Harake is a sacrifice or offering given in a non violent way to keep a promise made to a god. It may entail the offering of hair, burning when walking around the shrine, rolling and presenting the god with food, clothes, or livestock. Small shrines, known as kappukatti, are located along the edges of villages, where recurring sacrifices or offerings are performed to ward off illness. Jayantis commemorate the birth anniversaries of notable figures like as Kempegowda, Ambedkar, and Tipu Sultan. They are honored with honorary awards, political speeches, cultural events, and state ceremonies. Next, I am going to talk about the rituals of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The affliction rituals in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana are Bonnalu, which is devoted to the goddess Mahankali and seeks protection from illness and bad luck. The life cycle related rituals are same as in Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. So I am just talking about the affliction rituals. Women perform trance-like dances, provides animal sacrifice and carry pots of cooked rice, bonum, to temples. Healing also happens through possession, and a native healer, Vaidya or Oja, uses chants, red cloth, turmeric, and neem leaves in rituals to ward off ghosts when they are possessed. Astrological rituals known as Graha Dosha Shanti are carried out to appease planetary afflictions that are thought to bring about disease or bad luck. It consists of japams, Navagraha homams, or Rahu Ketu Shani Puja. The commemorative rituals are the Bathukamma honors. And what they honor? The abundance of nature, particularly flowers, and the spirit of womanhood. Bathukamma is a tiled structure used by women to arrange flowers, and the events centered around this floral arrangement includes dancing and singing. Bathukamma's last submersion happens in water bodies. The Ugari holiday commemorates the Telugu New Year and is marked by customs meant to pay tribute to ancestors and bring good fortune. Ugari Pachari is prepared using 6 days that represents the experiences of life and Panchanga Sharvanam, the New Year forecast, reading, putting on new clothes, and cleaning houses. Also, we have Samakka Saralamma Jatara, which honors the two goddesses of tribal women who stood up to oppressive kings, and where they are held in Medaram every 2 years. Enormous crowds of worshippers and customs such as animal sacrifices and jaggery offerings happen. Drumming, trance dancing, and oracular possession are common rituals in the whole South. Tribal groups revere guardian deities and ancestral spirits. Next, I'm going to talk about the rituals of Andaman and Nicobar Island, Lakshadweep Islands, and Puducherry. Some tribes in these places practice totemics, in which plants or animals stand in for spiritual protectors or clan ancestry. A feast and burial are held after death among the Nicobaris, a more assimilated group. Secondary burial is the practice of reburying bones in specialized ossuaries after they have been unearthed. Also, they seek advice, protection, or healing from shamans or spirit healers who speak with the spirit realm. I have attached a photo of a shaman healer here. So, despite their regional, linguistic, and religious diversity, South India's rites, rituals, and customs have a number of things in common that are derived from Dravidian cultural history, Hindu philosophy, and ancient traditions. Bathing, tidying up the surroundings, and dressing in traditional, hygienic clothes are frequently the first step in rituals. Ablutions or water purifications are said to be necessary prior entering temples or performing puja. It's a common practice to draw elaborate designs at the entrance of houses and temples using rice flour or colored powders, which are thought to ward off evil and bring luck. There is widespread observance of rituals such as daily arti, abhishekanam, and flowers, fruits, coconuts, incense, camphor, and prepared food are typically offered to the gods. For everyday worship, many households feature a puja room or other hallowed area. It is customary to pay respect to ancestors by performing particular rites during Mahalaya Paksh or Amavasya. Annual death rites and shroud ceremonies are regarded as essential. They are commonly observed, as Simantanam, prenatal ceremony, prenatal, and Upanayanam, sacred ceremony, the holy thread ceremony. To make sure they are performed at the most auspicious moment, the majority of rituals are scheduled according to astrological charts and the Panchaganam, the Hindu calendar. Now we end the fifth lecture of our sixth module. I've attempted to give you an idea of how the rituals are celebrated in South India. See you soon. Thank you.